Can I just start off this night by saying that technology is a wonderful tool until it decides not to work? Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to Pop of Color Live, a music industry late night show for colorful bands and artists. I'm your host, Clara. I run Pop of Color, a boutique music marketing agency, blog, and this late night show that premieres Monday nights, 9 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time. If you are watching live, welcome. If you are catching this on a rerun, welcome to you too. I'm so happy you're joining me tonight. We're going to be talking about the Christmas music industry. This is Cleopatra, by the way, and she's off. So I like to start off by just doing a little bit of a story about the cats right now, because okay, so as some of you may know, I foster cats with a local animal shelter as one of the very few things I have time to do for fun outside of the music industry. This morning, I woke up and to my great dismay, my megaphono toque the pom-pom's falling apart because they got a hold of it in the middle of the night and went to town on my pom-pom hat. So I'm very sad because I got this at the Megaphono Music Conference last February, and it's shedding. And it's a very sad plucked pom-pom. But I'm sure they had a good time. So I guess this means I have to go back to Megaphono this coming year. The kittens will be adopted on the 15th, hopefully. I'm taking them to an event, and there's already been some interest. And then from there, I will be taking a break with fostering until March, because in February, I'm going to Montreal for Folk Music Alliance, among other things. If you are going to the Folk Music Alliance Music Conference in Montreal in February, let me know in the comments of the video. It might be really great to meet up with you. Okay, now that I have that little story out of the way, I want to get started on the news of this week. So I found this really cool thought piece in the NPR, which was talking about how the singer Rihanna is the most influential musician of the 21st century. So say what you want about her music. You might not be a fan of pop music, but she has without a doubt shaped the pop landscape for, over a decade at this point. And I thought that was really interesting how they're looking at her art style and how it's a fact that she is a very complex human. She's a very authentic person, and that is something that creates who she is. And it's not easy to put her in a mold. It's not easy to label her as this and that, whether it be with her personal life or with her own sound, which is constantly evolving. So yeah, so I thought that was really cute, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. It's in the link in the description of this video under freebies and news sources. The next piece of more newsy news I wanted to talk about was Apple Music has filed a trademark for the name Apple Music for Business. So what this means, if you've got your Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass in hand, is that they're looking at getting into the game of retail playlists and intercoms. So that's going to be really, really interesting, because there's already Spotify for Business when it comes to the song lists that get played on the store intercoms. But this would work for Apple. It would help artists get paid, because a lot of small businesses aren't knowledgeable that they have to get a special license to pay the artists with the performing rights organizations. A lot of small businesses think they can get away with personal accounts or free accounts that don't pay the same amounts. I've certainly worked in retail stores in the past that have done that. So this is going to be very interesting going forward, and I hope this really will be used to shine a light on the fact that artists need to be paid for being played on store playlists. And plus, there's more money in the system. So yay, because you can bet that the Walmarts of the world can afford to pay the performing rights organization blanket fees that can then get divvied up into paying the artists. So maybe Spotify, well, sorry, not Spotify, Apple Music, they'll start making money and it'll make more money for artists. So yay. New stats show that among Spotify users, 25% of listeners are likely to skip a song within the first 5 seconds. So if you're in the middle of composing a song, make sure it's one where the first 5 seconds are interesting enough not to skip. And last little quick piece of news I want to talk about. For those of you who are familiar with the traditional Christmas song, Baby It's Cold Outside, several major radio stations in both the USA and Canada have started pulling it from the rotation due to complaints of its non-political correctness. Hi Christian, if you know the lyrics, it's basically the story of a man who's convincing this girl who's come over to stay the night, and he's offering her excuses, and she's talking about what her parents will think, what the neighbors will think, because in those days when it was written, so like in the 40s, I believe, good girls didn't stay the night over. So, but baby, it's cold outside. Anyway, but there's a few lines that if this song was to be written today, such as say what's in this drink, would not fly, and as a result, it's being pulled from radio. I'd love to get to know your thoughts on that, because honestly, I haven't heard any complaints about the song really. More reactions from the older people on my Facebook who are complaining about it being pulled. So yes, so that is my news of the week. And while we're on the subject of Christmas songs, it's time to go into the holiday music machine, a special inside look at the Christmas music industry. So I wrote this really cool blog post last year about this that got picked up by a radio station that had me host a Christmas special for them live on air. I'm going to be doing it again this year, which I'm really excited about. But I thought it was really well done, so I thought maybe I could present it tonight in the form of just reading it from the blog post, like a dramatic reading. Because I really liked how it turned out. There's a link to it in the description in the archives of the show, so you can follow along if you like, or you can read it or look at stats if you see something that's really interesting and catches your eye. Okay, here we go. The holiday music machine. As professional musicians, our Christmas season can inspire a wide variety of feelings. From emotions of joy, sometimes in monetary form, gifted to classy performers on the corporate holiday party circuit, to emotions of annoyance from punk drummers that the mall has decided to only play the same Michael Bublé album from now until New Year. In the lead up to the holidays, we're all likely to be invited to various get-togethers. Christmas is a cultural occasion that brings a lot of music with its arrival each year. I've been fascinated about the whole Christmas music industry for a long time, and this article is a compilation of questions I've asked myself over the years and took it upon myself to find the answers. Hopefully, these facts and stories will give you cool things to say in conversation that will make you a popular guest at parties this year. Question number 1. Why is Christmas the only mainstream annual Western holiday with lots of its own famous, respected accompanying music? It's important to note that Christmas carols have been around a long time, longer than actual Christianity even. Early European societies celebrated the winter solstice, December 21st, the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, with their own songs and celebrations. As the people were converted to Christianity by kings over the years, many religious figures of authority adapted these songs to fit with the church's celebration of Jesus Christ around December 25th. Fast forward to today. The fact that Christmas is essentially a birthday is a big differentiating factor compared to other Western holidays such as Easter and Thanksgiving. While Easter is a much more significant celebration in the Christian faith, and its Sunday its Sunday is always a celebration based on cycles of the moon, which change annually. Thanksgiving, while being a bigger deal, especially in the USA for travel, consumption of roast turkeys, and cranberries, it has a much younger history than that of Christmas, and is only celebrated in November there and October here in Canada, leaving the rest of the world unaffected for the most part. Because Christmas is celebrated without fail on December 25th every year, it's easy to remember and mark it a countdown to. Witness children's advent calendars throughout the month of December or Christmas music campaigns to get people into the mood for the holiday season. The tradition of presents goes way back too, all the way back to the very first Christmas even, when 3 wise men followed a star to the manger in Bethlehem to give gifts to the baby Jesus. That is the Christian version of the present giving. That's their origin story. In some Eastern European countries, instead of Santa Claus, their present bringer is a little old lady named Babushka, who was running late on her on her way to the manger when clouds covered the night sky and her sense of direction was lost. Each year on Jesus' birthday, she visits houses and leaves presents for every little kid, just in case one of them's a newborn king. So it was pretty easy to adapt Christmas for an increasingly secular and materialistic culture, and the music simply followed over the years. Okay, question 2. Why do so many popular artists release Christmas albums? If you know any popular artists who have released a Christmas album this year, please let me know in the description of this video, because the article I wrote and all the research I've done was for last year. If there are some new albums, please let me know. I'm up for some new stuff to listen to. So, why do so many popular artists release Christmas albums? Does it seem like every year a bunch of big name musicians release albums of holiday music? 2017 included Sia, Gwen Stefani, 98 Degrees, and Hanson. 2016's highlights included Casey Musgraves, Neil Diamond, Garth Brooks, and Reba. All country. 2015 featured Ariana Grande, Kenny Rogers, Leanne Rimes, and Sarah McLachlan. Even Taylor Swift has a holiday album. Well, there are 2 big reasons why the music industry isn't going to stop flooding us with Christmas albums anytime soon. The first is that they're an economically safe investment in uncertain times. Even before the rise of streaming, places like the iTunes store that allowed the sale of unbundled albums shook up the music industry. No longer could a record label convince the public to pay the full price of a CD that only had 2 hit songs on it and the rest filler. Now, music fans could preview every song and only buy the ones they liked, and therefore album sales dropped. What's interesting to notice, however, is up until now, sales of holiday albums have remained relatively the same, especially from country and adult contemporary artists. Yes, the average household won't listen to them for more than a month out of the year before packing them away with the tree and the lights in the attic, but they pull them out again year after year. Most regular albums have their peak sales numbers and public interest soon after release, and then it slows down. A Christmas album, meanwhile, can be marketed late fall, year after year. An artist with a hit Christmas song can do the holiday parade, big city department store circuit every December, in between regular album cycles and tour schedules. Not bad for a steady paycheck in the entertainment business. The second reason is one that mainly benefits the artist. Many record deals have a term that lasts multiple album cycles. So, for example, you as an artist must record and release 5 albums before you can be released from your contract, or you have the opportunity to renegotiate. Many of these contracts don't state that the album needs to be a project of only original songs. So, if an artist is absolutely miserable in their contract and wants to pump out an album quickly, many of them turn to Christmas and holiday records. No need to struggle with writing all their own songs, as seen in the paragraph above, and the label isn't going to turn away a safe investment. For example, Leona Lewis's last album went tied to Psycho Records was Christmas with Love. I'm not going to go around spreading rumors that she was stuck in a bad contract, but as soon as she left, she immediately signed to Island Records and released an album full of empowerment anthems. Kelly Clarkson's second last project with RCA Records was also a Christmas album before she switched records and went into making music that she claimed she'd always wanted to make. These artists build their name recognition off their original hits and are using Christmas albums as a way to safeguard their financial future. They might not top the charts for the rest of their lives, but this is a great way to diversify one's income stream. It's very intelligent. So, question number 3. Do Christmas songs ever land on the Billboard Hot 100? In this day and age, there seem to be only really 2 occasions where old songs land on the coveted Billboard Hot 100 chart. When a vastly influential artist dies after a long career, just saying, or during the holiday season. Over the eras of popular music as we know it, holiday songs have always been around, but some decades have seen their impact more than others. Last year, I was sifting through the Billboard Hot 100. So this is the weekly charts, just plucking different years from the 58 years of Billboard's history. I took a sample from every decade, so like 1958, mid-60s, mid-70s, mid-80s, mid-90s, 2006, 2016. And here's the gist of what I discovered. In 1958, many now classic holiday songs found homes in slots during the first year of Billboard's Hot 100 chart. A Christmas song even stayed at number 1 for 4 weeks. It was actually the first and the only ever Christmas song to hit number 1 on the weekly charts. Want to take a wild guess what it was? Yeah, the Chipmunk song. You're welcome. Going on later, there were 4 of those decades of the samples I plucked. There were no holiday songs that made an appearance. In 1996, 2 made it. I found 2. Macarena Christmas, which was the original Macarena, but with jingle bells, and a country musician singing a religious hymn. 2006 had a quick spattering, and then here's where it gets interesting. This was with 2016, and according to the sample data, that was the best era for Christmas music since 1958. There was more variety in the older classics, a cover of Hallelujah, though not technically a Christmas song. It is religious-themed, and Leonard Cohen had passed away that year, off the Pentatonix holiday album, and Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You made its expected appearance. So taking a look at the bigger picture, holiday songs were really popular when they first came out, when everyone bought the original LPs, and not too many new holiday songs are being written. The genre stagnated. They were always around, but not with that Hot 100 chart presence. People already bought the album. They weren't going to buy a new one every year. So what brought Christmas music back? 2 new things: new music and new listening formats. As mentioned before, the holiday music genre went through a long period of pop culture stagnation. Think about it. If you were asked to list some of the most popular Christmas songs played throughout December in shopping malls and big box retailers, most of them would be versions of beloved old classics, ones close to those that were at home on the charts in 1958. You know, like I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Jingle Bell Rock. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. And even older ones that are traditional religious hymns, you know, Silent Night, for example. But in 1994, a new Christmas classic blew the floodgates wide open again. All I Want for Christmas Is You, a jolly holiday masterpiece by a pop diva at the height of her career, signaled a new era of innovation in the genre. It is still the biggest hit of Mariah Carey's career and continues to land on various Billboard charts every year since its release. Due to some now dissolved rules and eligibility for the Hot 100, it wasn't allowed to be counted there until 2012 onwards. Almost every mainstream artist's Christmas album since Mariah's contains a heavily marketed original new single. The second factor to look at is the listening format. Over the years of doing Christmas shopping, have you ever spent more than a few minutes in a big box retailer and noticed that they only seem to have 10 songs on their holiday season playlist? Well, that hasn't changed, but the way they play them has. You see, many stores now have corporate playlists made on streaming services such as Spotify for Business. And as I mentioned in the news earlier, Apple Music for Business is about to launch. This simplifies pay work by paying the performing rights organization automatically and keeps employees on the floor helping customers instead of manually playing DJ. The difference that makes is that individual music sales have a finite amount of chart points they can earn. The sky's the limit with streaming. Yes, buying a CD or paying $1.29 for a single on iTunes is worth more upfront, but this system was created for the average music listener in mind. A typical music fan doesn't make the same impact playing the same songs over and over again as a chain retailer. When stores moved from the old CD player or the manager's iPod to a corporate sanctioned playlist, chart points started counting in real time. Walmart, for example, has their own Spotify for Business account, so does Starbucks. If they have, say, a 20-song Christmas music playlist that loops from back to the beginning during all opening hours throughout the entire retail holiday season, which seems to start earlier and earlier every year, in every location across English-speaking countries, that adds up to a lot of plays and a lot of billboard points. Now, multiply those by all the other big box chains and food stores and shopping malls doing more or less the same thing. They're playing the song more times than the points. So every 100 times, it counts as it counts as another sale. And that's what's tripping the system to get these songs back onto the Billboard Hot 100. Simply put, streaming has put Christmas music back on the Billboard Weekly Hot 100 through the sheer force of repetition. Merry Christmas! As 2019 quickly approaches, I want to wish you all the best for this upcoming holiday season. I'm planning to have one more episode going out next week before I'm off until New Year. Stay warm, stay safe, stay colorful. Happy holidays, season's greetings, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Just be good to each other and stay warm. Once again, my name is Clara. I run Pop of Color. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you had a great time with this episode. I really did. Link in the description if you want to check out the news sources or check out that original article I wrote in written form. I'm very grateful you are all here. Have a great night. Bye.